So Luc, thank you so much for that tour. That was fantastic. That was a lot of metal, but I like to be able to connect the reality of that boat, the design, the structure, the naval architecture, to the real world. And of course, your personal experience, having lived with your family aboard an Alubat 56 for multiple years and really seen the world on a boat. What I really would like to know is, I realized that that boat wasn't just designed by a naval architect. I have to believe that you had some influence on it, and I'd like for you to comment on some of the design decisions as to how they apply in the real world, that world that you lived in for so many years.
Well, yeah, that really comes out from my, and actually I would say our experience, Julie and I,
yeah.
On the 56, actually on the previous boats we've been sailing on. To us, a centerboard boat is a must.
Right.
You can go anywhere. You can access to any marina, any anchorage, even shallow ones. You can enter any pass in the atolls or going up rivers in Borneo or wherever you want. So that's definitely a must. More than that, I would say that a centerboard boat is also a very safe boat. When you get into very heavy weather, which we experience in the northern Atlantic during winter in February, which we experience leaving Vancouver end of November going south. When you're caught in heavy weather, if you have water to run, a centerboard boat is definitely the safest boat. Right. Because you put the centerboard all the way up, it's inside the hull, and then you just escape the weather. You go with following wind and following sea, and you will, even if the boat tend to luff, it will just slide back on the wave. So permitting any mistake from the crew on the wheel or the autopilot. So that's definitely a must for us. So that's the whole Ovni range, actually.
Right. One of the questions I hadn't asked you this about the smaller boats, the 370 and the 430, although obviously design-wise the boats all are in the same category and the same design ideas. However, it seemed to me this boat would be closer to the boat that you traveled on.
Size-wise, volume-wise, and of course one of the main thing is the pilot house.
Right.
And the pilot house is definitely a must when you're traveling the world or when you're living for extensive period of time on board. And a lot of people tell me, yeah, you're saying so because you've been a lot up north and down south.
Right.
Well, that's true. You can stay inside the pilot house and you can actually steer the boat with the autopilot from inside the pilot house with a very good visibility and stay with warm and dry inside the pilot house. Yeah. That's true.
Right.
But one of the occasions where when I really was very happy to have a pilot house on the 56 was going up from the Marquesas, French Polynesia, to Hawaii.
Okay.
And that wasn't cold at all.
Right.
We just had steady trade winds over 25 knots, and you know that was wet. Waves going across the deck, and then you still dry. You're protected under the pilot house. And so what is valid for cold areas is also valid for tropical areas. Right. It's definitely a must for a blue water boat. That's doable on a 50-footer. The option for the smaller boats, for the 370 and the 430, is the Art Dodger.
Yeah. I still think that obviously it's not as optimal as having a door that closes behind you.
Yeah.
But especially in the 430, just spending time on that boat and the seating position inside that skirt is very similar. Of course, it doesn't compare with having an actual living space that is connected to the salon as well. It makes a big difference.
Yeah.
So one curiosity I had is, what improvements does this boat enjoy that you didn't have on your older boat?
Well, my older boat was an older design. It was actually a good design. It was a Briand design, which is a very good naval architect. But the pilot house hasn't been designed in the first place, so it was much smaller. And the general design of the boat was more classic design. So that means that the stern was, like the beam of the boat was more or less in the center. And then when you go to the stern, then it starts to be less beamy again.
Right.
So way less volume, even in the front section. I mean, with the bow we have on the new range, you've got a lot of volume in the first third, which is very also important for living space, but also for performances. Yeah. So that would be the main difference is definitely the hull shape. And I would say that for 90, that 50 footers is actually way more space than we had in the 56.
In the 56.
Yeah.
You beat me to my next question. Yeah. One of the observations about this current range of boat that I get, and it's why it's so popular, as people are learning, to get an Alubat today is a 3-year wait. Yeah. And I'm convinced that the salon has really made a difference, the raised salon. Yeah. The ability to feel connected to the outdoors while you're inside the boat.
Yeah, that's definitely another driver in the design of the boats. We've been traveling down south and up north, and when you're in Alaska, for example, and you anchor in a very nice area, that can be cold. Yeah. You can have rain. And then if you have a classic boat and you're going down below, you don't enjoy what's going on outside. Right. You don't enjoy the view. You don't enjoy the So having the raised saloon is definitely a must. Like you're still connected to what's going on around, to the environment. And that's valid when you're at anchor or at the marina, but that's also valid when you're sailing. Right.
And any of us who've spent a lot of time at anchorage over the years have learned the less than enjoyable environment where you have to rise go up the companionway every 15 minutes when there's a little bit of weather to see what's going outside. This was the connection to the boat that I wanted to discuss with you, rather than just let it be I mean, it was great to descend into the belly of the beast, but that's going to be transformed.
There's many details. I mean, I spent over half my life sailing. And out of those experiences, there's many small details. Right. I mean, centerboard is a must, but you have to rely on the system. Mm-hmm. So the reason that why we want to use lines to maneuver the centerboard is also essential. Right. I mean, hydraulic is fantastic when it's working. Right. If it's not, then you need to find someone to fix it for you. Most likely you won't be able to fix it on your own. Changing a line is something very easy. Right. Boat thruster is definitely a must when you're maneuvering in close quarter. If you have a retractable one, that's one source of the mechanism failing, and then you can't rely on your boat thruster. Having a tunnel boat thruster is definitely something.
The tunnel thruster in this design accounts for that. That's I think a very important benefit.
Twin engine.
Right.
Twin engine is also, that's redundancy. There's other reasons that I've explained when we've been around the boat, but having that redundancy is definitely a must too.
I think as much as the redundancy is a good thing, I still love the fact that the twin engine allows you to maintain the shallow draft. Is also a big contributor.
There's different reasons for that choice.
And that shallow draft, I think, is a real critical player in the boat design. Yeah, so this is good. Well, Luc, thank you so much. Again, we're going to, obviously this is just an ongoing project, and the next time we sit down and have a chat with you, we'll have a finished boat for people to see in the spring. Yeah. Thank you, Luc.
Thank you,
It's always
Rob.
a great pleasure.
Yeah.